you shot someone, and it could have been a lot worse. Yeah, like it was.
You know, when I went to shoot that person, and even to this day, I feel bad for him, and the trauma, and his kids and his wife. Why?
That adds to your charge sheets, doesn't it? Like guns, drugs, and bulletproof.
Absolutely.
Vests.
I'm just grateful I'm alive, honestly.
Welcome back to my chat with former NRL player John Elias. If you missed part one, we were talking about John's rough start in life, how he found himself in prison at 16, then forged a career for himself as a professional rugby league player. Despite his best efforts, trouble always seemed to find him. So welcome back, John.
I'm here. I'm back.
Well, look, part one, you're very honest and open about the things that happened in your life and going from the good in the playing the rugby league and then getting dragged back into the dark side. And there's one particular let's call it incident or situation in your career that I know weighs heavily on you, and it's something that you're not walking away from. You're involved in it, but this betting scam on a game of rugby league. Do you want to talk to us about that? This is the one with Wests and Souths.
Yeah, that was in 94. I just arrived at Souths. I think there was about 4 or 5 games of the season to go. We couldn't make semi-finals. I was there. I go most Monday nights. You go to a place called Checkers in town, in Chinatown. You get a massage, foot massage, steam and sauna, then go get something to eat. And this particular day, don't know how he found me. I obviously done his homework. I mentioned earlier that I seen a shiving take place in Long Bay when I was 16.
Yeah.
This bloke, it's not his real name. His name was Dave. He happened to be there. He said, "John, I've been looking for you. I'm glad I found you." And he said, "I don't forget what you did for me. You didn't give me up. I would have done an extra 10 years for sure because the police wanted me badly because it was his word against mine and it wouldn't stick up in court. There was no other witnesses or evidence. And you said that you didn't see anything. So I'm indebted to you, John." And I knew he didn't come to sugar. I knew he didn't come to see me just to give me a compliment. He could have found me any other time. He said, "Look, John, I want to talk about your football ability and I'm proud of what you've done. Listen, you can't make the semi-finals. Would you be interested in fixing a match?" And I thought straight away, insurance, superannuation, we can't make the semis, but I said I'd never, ever cheat on my teammates and I wouldn't play to run debt. I would never have. I remember Wayne Bennett saying to me years ago, he says, "John, I don't mind you backing yourself to win. You got an incentive. But once you go the other way, you've lost me." So no, I wouldn't go the other way. But he did say, "John, don't worry, you're not going to lose the game. You're going to you win the game, but by no more than 6.5 points. That's handicap betting in rugby league." He said, "There's a lot of money involved. We'll look after you. I'm going to throw you this and throw you that. You just got to get the players you can get and make sure when you come to play Western Suburbs, win the game, but no more than 6.5 was the handicap betting." So didn't agree to it. I said, "Let me think about it," and that devious mind of mine just working overtime thinking, I can make an earn out of this. If you get the right people involved, because we're going to be the favourites. You get the right people involved, we can win this game, but make sure we don't win it by more than 6 and everybody's happy.
And so the logic ticking over in your mind, are you thinking, well, I'm not throwing a game?
No, I'm not throwing a game.
We're still going to win.
Still going to win.
But it's going to be a shave a point if I
but thinking back now, it's still cheating on my teammates because we can go ahead and do it and not win by more than 6, but you're not playing to your best.
Yeah.
You can win by 30. It's not fair on the fans. It's not
so
fair.
you can't justify it.
I don't. At the time I could, but not now.
Okay.
No way in the world I can justify it now. But, and so, like I said, the devious mind is working overtime. I thought, I'll approach a few players. But what I did with a few players, they didn't even know who was involved themselves. I got them separately, so I didn't want to get anyone involved or anyone in trouble. Funny enough, they all agreed. Yeah. And I told them the whole story, and I said, "Look, we're going to win. We win the game, but no more than 6." And I'm thinking, well, if they've agreed, we can't make the semi-finals. We're going to get some cash money after this game. It'll be great. It's traumatic experience back then.
I can see you struggling even talking about it now.
Because I got played and I got used up, and everyone, a lot of people don't believe what took place, but I know what took place. But in a nutshell, they all agreed. This is the last moment they all come back. There was some speculation. There was a particular SP going around. He was telling everyone that there's a rort. Anyway, the players come up to me individually and says, John, we can't do this. And I said, boys, we'll still win the game. I'm trying to convince them to do it. I said, boys, we can win the game, but no more than 6. No. And each and every one of them said they didn't want to do it. And going home that night, I thought, thank fuck, don't have to do it now. This is really good, But then I've already outlaid the money. SPs, you get on the nod. So I've outlaid the money. What am I going to do now?
So you're bought into the...
I've bought into it, but I've outlaid the money before these people, my players, have come back. So I said, what am I going to do now? So what I did is I knew a few of the West players. I'm not going to name who they are. So I've offered them extra money to have the game of their life so they can beat us. And it's all clear. But on this particular weekend, it was the Saturday, the bloke I was working with somehow got a visit to go see Nettie Smith, because he's the only person I knew that could help. Nettie Smith had told him to go and see this bloke and all the debts would be covered. The bloke he'd fucking gone to see was the bloke that come to see me.
Right.
Dave. This was Dave. So Dave's outside my place. On the Saturday morning, we're going to go to play Western Suburbs at Arana Park, South.
Yeah.
And I'm going to Redfern Oval to get picked up on a bus, and we're going to drive because we go as a team. And he's out there that morning. I said, what the fuck are you doing to this bloke? I said, mate, he says, John, don't you worry. Everything's taken care of. You don't have to, you don't have to worry about anything. You're sweet. There's no fix, blah, blah, blah. I said, beautiful. So we'll go out there. And I said to the players, let's go out there and play the game of our lives. Everything's off. It's called off. I got nothing to worry about a debt. Yeah. Getting on the nod. They call it the nod. It's a credit betting. And funny enough, we ended up losing that game. So, and everyone's talking about how I controlled the lose, but I didn't control anything. I was on the bench that day, actually. But I thought I played rather well. That's what I thought. But we ended up getting beat. So we ended up getting beat by about, 10 points or something. West actually beat us. All debts are off. And
but there was a smell about that game, wasn't there?
They reckoned that Souths were dead that day. I can assure you we weren't.
Yeah. And it did, because the fallout was the
intentions were there, Gary. I'm going to tell you the truth. The intentions were there. They were there right up to the last minute.
Yeah.
Come on, let's win the game. We wanted to win, but no more than 6. Like I said earlier, I look back now and I think, doesn't matter if you win the game by 3 or 4, you're still not playing the best of your ability. It's not fair to the fans, not fair to yourselves, and not fair to your teammates. You're not putting the effort in. You go out there to fucking win 100%. But that's what happened. Because we lost, they thought it was a rort.
Like you've done a lot of things in your life, but I think that's one of the things that trouble you.
That troubles me the most because if it took place, because I know it didn't, to let my teammates down on a footy field, you don't do that. And I don't like letting anyone down, especially my mates.
Yeah.
When you bleed with someone on the footy field, you don't want to let them down. You don't want to lie to them. That's cheating. I didn't want to do that.
Yeah.
I've never done it and I never will.
Well, it's breaking a code within the football teams, isn't it? But,
absolutely.
So I want to read out something from your book because I want people to understand, okay, this is, you've owned, the intent was there, it was going to do it.
The intention was there right to the last minute.
Right, and then it changed. But this is what you've said about it in your book, and it's a good book, shout out there, Sin Bin. But it could never be denied that I'd set off a potential disastrous chain of events. I'd been guilty of putting my teammates under enormous personal strain. My own internal struggle was evidence enough. Although we didn't end up playing poorly, I'd still gone a fair way down a very murky road that would have shattered the faith of the coaching staff and fans if they knew. Out of all the mistakes I'd made, this was arguably the worst because I'd endangered the reputations of others who were like brothers to me on the field. I'd also come within an ace of destroying the very essence that maintains professional sport's very special place in society.
Oh.
So I read those words out because when I was reading your book, they were heavy words. And, with all the shit that you have done, that's something that really plays on your conscience.
By far. Yeah. Letting teammates down, it's a no-go for me.
Yeah.
I would never do it, never done it. I pride myself in doing things for your teammates on the footy field.
And did that affect your reputation within in the league world?
totally. After that, they thought the game was fixed. See, at that particular game, the money was on for us to win.
Yep.
Well, no, sorry, to give West. We'll back in West for 6.5 start. We're going to win the game, but no more than 6.5.
Yep.
Win the game by 4. We collect. West win. We win.
Yeah,
we get the cash. But the goalposts have changed. This bloke come and said me, it's all off. Someone's already got on. Few people have already got on. You got to lose the game.
So
when I said that to the South players, they said, no, we don't do that anymore.
And the players that originally went along with it, it seems good when you talk about it when it not actually gets down to the nitty gritty, but they pulled back on it before it went down.
They were going to look. They wanted to be involved if it was the 6.5 point start, win the game, but no more. But when they got told, listen, the goalposts have changed, we've got to lose the game, no, they wouldn't do it.
Okay.
And you know what? Deep down, I thought, good on you.
Yeah.
I thought, great.
Yeah, it's not.
We're young kids. They're probably thinking back now, if we did go ahead and win the game, but no more than 4, they're probably thinking, we've done a bad thing too.
Yeah.
If they're thinking like me, we should have won that game by more. We should have played the best of our ability, not 80% of it.
Yeah, well, it's you start creeping the points, and
yes,
it can go very bad.
I get asked a lot. I get asked so often. Does it happen now?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I mean, when sport and money involved, there's room for error. I think
you don't know, but I think you got a message for people that consider it that don't even go near it. Would that be?
Yeah, don't gamble on sport. You don't know what takes place.
Yeah. Following on from that, your reputation, and then the dark side got hold of you again, and you ended up back inside.
I done 9 months jail. Yeah.
Okay, what happened there? What were the charges?
I know the major crime squad will follow me. I got told, and they were watching everything I did. The charges were possession of bulletproof vests. I didn't know bulletproof vests were illegal, and machine gun, but just pieces of machine guns. I mean, they suited any I don't know, antique dealer. Yeah, they were, machine guns and just parts, machine gun parts.
Right.
Minus the trigger. So it was just collector's items.
And the cops were watching you at the time.
Oh, they're watching, and it was. Yeah, they wanted me bad. There was a bloke that I'd been doing things with years and years ago. He set me up with an undercover cop. So
that's right. And you said that, and I'm laughing. I shouldn't probably be laughing, but that shattered your
trust.
Your trust in the criminal world that you thought staunch was staunch, and you had a mate that gave you up to the cops.
He introduced me to someone else, and I thought the bloke was like, I was very, very. He said, "Can you get me some?" Look, John, I know he wanted the machine gun parts and the bulletproof vest. Yeah, no problem. We give it to him every week. I didn't think they were legal. That's the honest truth.
Yeah.
And one particular time he says, John, I need just an ounce of speed. My wife's not well. Can you help? I didn't want to do it. I don't go down that road.
Yeah.
He made me end up getting him, and I met him at Moore Park. Because I could get anything back then. If you just, people involved. I went Moore Park, the stadium there, the football stadium. I remember him, we're in a car in a Toyota. This is what probably saved me. I don't know. He said, John, where's that speed you got for me? I said, what are you talking about? So I'm playing along as if I don't know what he's talking about. And I said, and I went to touch him on his chest. He was wired. See? I felt a gold chain or something.
Yeah.
I said, what's that? Oh, it's a gold chain from your wife. You don't trust me? I said, no, mate, I'm a bit scared because I got grand final tickets here, which I really had to speed. I had grand final tickets here. And, that sacked me. South said, sack me if I'm selling grand final tickets to a footy game to someone. You don't do that. It's wrong.
Yeah.
Anyway, he kept following me. The other bloke kept saying, no, the bloke's 100%. Next thing you know, I'm at some place at, what's it called? Anyway, that's another story. Anyway, ended up meeting him, and he was there with me, of course, who I feel sorry for to this day.
Who was the...
he was superstar. Good bloke, great bloke. And he had these bulletproof vests and machine gun parts. He didn't know they were legal himself. He was just trying to he had so many of them. He said, John, when I went to the bowl, he fronted me training one day because he was the assistant coach of Balmain. And I said, I can get rid of them for you. There's no problem. Everyone was getting them. They loved them, especially the bulletproof vests. And then we went and met at what do they call those places where they keep storage houses? What are they called?
Warehouse.
Whatever. Anyway, I've gone there, and next thing you know, we're on the ground, and the undercover cop, he was there, and a squad of 20 people come in and on the ground, and they got me. But didn't really get me for anything, really. They just got me for, even the judge said himself, these machine guns don't work.
Yeah.
And these bulletproof vests, he didn't even know they were legal.
Right.
But I ended up doing 9 months because of my previous history, and the 2 ounces of speed didn't help.
No. Well,
but to this day, had nothing to do with it. He had no idea.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, that adds to your charge sheets, doesn't it? Like guns, drugs, and bulletproof.
Absolutely,
vests and,
No, I got played, and I deserved to be played. So I was looking for a quick earn.
That's, I suppose, that's the world you mixed in, John.
That was
always. Did the pressure get to you at any point in time? And I know you said after at the age of 16 in Long Bay, but were you always looking over your shoulder, thinking, "Fuck, when are the cops going to turn up?" Did that?
After the football inquiry, I knew I was being followed. I just knew it
because that was big. It played out big in the media and all that. And there
that morning, funny enough, that's how stupid I was. That morning, I got a phone call. John, whatever you're doing, you got to stop it.
Yeah.
And I kind of laughed on the phone because a close friend of mine, you got to stop what you're doing. I know what you're doing. Stop it. 4 hours later, I'm getting pinched because I didn't know they were legal. I really didn't know machine gun parts, minus the trigger, and bulletproof vests were legal. But the ounce of speed was, so the 2 ounces.
So the
drugs were.
You knew you'd crossed the line.
I crossed the line.
But it was a bit of a revelation for you because you ended up doing not Long Bay this time. You're sentenced and up to a minimum security.
It was a prison farm at Oberon.
And tell us about that experience because that changed your outlook a little bit.
It did change my outlook. It wasn't jail. I'd done 9 months and I thought to myself, what am I going to do? I've got to give something back. And it's a jail where it's 90% kids and 10% adults. And the adults that go around trying to help the young kids. My job was there just being personal trainer, looking after them and training the fuck out of these kids just to wear them down, not to think about crime and tell them a bit about my past. And I really enjoyed it. I thoroughly felt like I gave something. And that's where I started Lebanon Rugby League, just the thought of doing that.
You that experience there, you thought about coaching, but there was another revelation there that you were actually steering kids in the right direction, and you felt like you didn't have a father figure, but you could at least, and you didn't have a family, you at least had people that you could point in the right direction. Yeah,
because there's nothing worse than actually sitting down in a room, and I've had it all my playing career. Yeah. People come and talk to you, don't do this, don't do that. They've got a clipboard under their arm, but they've never been through it. Yeah. So I'm not going to listen to these idiots. That's what I thought. I was so stupid and crazy. But I would listen to someone that's actually been there and done it. Yeah. What better person to actually give that advice? And I got the message got across to these kids in Oberon. They kind of, John, I think you're right. This is not for me. And, I try to help. And because I've been there and done it.
That ignited something in you?
It ignited a lot in me, yeah.
Yeah. So you get out and then, now you've really burnt your career, I suppose, in local rugby league. No one's going to sign you. You've got the betting scam thing hanging around, or the smell of that.
Absolutely.
You've gone inside for these offences. So you get out. So what were your options then?
There wasn't many. I come out and Cole Murphy, we spoke about him earlier.
Yep. He
went out of his way to sign me at Newtown. It's called the Ron Massey Cup.
Yeah.
I didn't want to play. It was 96, January 96. Come and play. I was a bit old. I said, don't want to play, Cole, but he pushed and pushed. He pushed it and we played and we won the grand final at Ron Massey and we beat Newtown. It was great. I started my career at Newtown. I finished. So that was great for me.
And then what's this vision of the Lebanese football?
That was very important to me. I wanted to do so. It was really to do something for my mother. And that was first thought. And then the second thought was, the Australian Lebanese have nothing to cheer about, and there was a sevens tournament, and I thought, let's put one in there. Predominantly Australian-based Lebanese. So, and we done that. We got to the quarterfinals. Then we went to the World Cup qualifiers, and part of going to a World Cup rugby league was in 2000 was you got to start rugby league in Lebanon. You can't represent Lebanon from Australia. So we did that, and we played the World Cup, and I had Arthur Beechens, my coaching director. He was great for me.
Yeah. And that really channeled an interest there. And I haven't even covered this, but growing up Lebanese in Australia, you would have felt some discrimination growing up.
Yeah, on the footy field. But if you get called a wog and you fucking lebo and all that, mainly on the footy field. But if you come back and tackle them hard and give them a good serve, you'd soon earn their respect.
Can fix
but the footy field changes everything. Everyone gets together and supports each other.
Part of it, getting this Lebanese football team up and running, instilling pride in the Lebanese community.
I just seen so many Lebanese players playing first grade, and it's harder for us to. first and second generation Lebanese. Our fathers didn't play rugby league, or our mothers. They knew nothing about this.
You're meant to be playing soccer.
You're meant to be playing soccer, or volleyball over there. But to come in and actually take the game up and be successful like some of the past Lebanese players have been, I think it's extraordinary.
Yeah.
And I thought, let's bottle this and put it into a sevens tournament.
Okay.
And they did.
And what were you getting from that personally? I'm talking on
satisfaction, putting something back into the game that saved my life. That's what it was.
Okay.
Without rugby league, Gaza, I'm telling you now, I don't know if I'd be alive.
Yeah, well,
I don't think I would be. I'd be in jail, one of the two.
You also, just to add to the pressure of life, you had a cancer scare.
Yeah.
Well, not a scare.
Not a scare. I actually had
cancer, and that was a battle in itself.
That was, this is how stupid I was still back then. I've been diagnosed with, it's called non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, and I've woken up from being diagnosed with it. And I said to the surgeon, I said, I've got to play a game in 2 weeks. What are you fucking talking about? Lebanon were playing France.
And you got a tumour growing in your stomach.
I got a tumour growing. He said, he said, it can't hold off, mate. You have to get it done now. It's 50% of dying or living. Anyway, I played the game like an idiot and played in a dinner suit, just catch and pass. And I got away with it, but 2 weeks later they operated on me because the chemo had burst my stomach and they had to cut out 3/4 of it.
When you say play in a dinner suit, just to explain that you can get out on the field in rugby league and you can really make
you don't do many tackles.
But playing in a dinner suit is when you're looking after yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you inspired the team on that day because didn't the coach?
Yeah, Steve. You've done your research,
John. Out of all the stupid things you've done, I reckon that was right up there because the surgeons were saying you could die out there on the field.
There again, I'm not stupid and just don't take any advice from anybody. And then I've got a professor telling me, John, you can't play.
Yeah.
You cop a bad knock, you're gone. Well, you won't, you're gone. I wouldn't take his advice.
Yeah.
I still play.
Well, you went through chemo, you went through that. And I think people can find inspiration from that. It's when you're down, and there was some really down times. Your stomach burst at one stage from the chemo, and you described that. It's the worst pain you've ever had.
Ever had in my life. I'm driving the car and something just popped. I got the sweat pouring out of me. The car took me to the surgery at Burwood, just found its way there. Yeah. So I've got there and he knew. Got the needle and called the ambulance. And they cut 3/4 of my stomach out.
Yeah.
People are diagnosed with cancer. It's not so much, as I said, it's not so much the cancer that kills them, it's the chemo that goes in their body. It's frightening, it's scary, it's tough. It actually puts you on your knees, Yeah. And I feel sorry for those people.
But you can't keep a good man down. How long ago was that?
99. Yeah. 1999.
That's still
not clear of it, but it's a 5-year window. But every couple of years I go get an endoscopy and colonoscopy just to be sure.
Yeah. And you're looking fit and strong still, so it hasn't affected your training.
That training, I think I got it back when I was in jail at 16. That's all they did in jail. Just trained every day and ran.
Yeah.
So I've taken I took that on board.
You got something good
Got
from
something
there.
Good, yeah.
How did you end up coaching over in France?
A bloke by the name of Pierre Vendôme, his name is. I've known him he used to be a friend of Taz Batiri's.
Yeah.
They were looking for a coach. And
just for people that don't know Taz Batiri, he was a rugby league player that was over in France and coordinating
things. He was the pioneer.
Bringing the Aussies over there to play. Yeah.
A team called the Pia Donkeys. What a mess with the Donkeys. Anyway, they're looking for a coach. I had no intentions of coaching. They're looking for a coach. They'd finished last in their competition. And I said, okay, let's go. I said, why not? I gave a chance. Always wanted a coach. No one's going to give me a start here. And I don't blame them for not giving me a start here. So I got over there and we got into the Challenge Cup final. And we lost it. But I took a host of good players with me, see. We were allowed a few imports.
Yep.
So a lot of players here had played a lot of first grade. I took Craig Field over with me. I took a bloke called Lower Milford, T. Lever, Adam Nabel. There was a host of good players I took over. Repeated season, so I've gone over there. I went back to second season. They made a Challenge Cup final again, only to get beat. But and then I got the job to coach the Catalan team to go into the Super League.
And they're a big team, aren't they? Like I don't follow the league out there, but I've heard
they were going in. I've got the job. I was on the coaching staff, not so much the head coach, but I was on the coaching staff. He said, "You've got the job." I remember Bernard. He said, "You coming? We want you. You're going to be part of the coaching." Anyway, I come back and. That dark side got me again. So we were doing some SPing and there was debts weren't paid and someone got shot and I ended up doing 4.5 years.
Yeah, and that was and I respect what you said. You don't want to talk about it.
No, because he's not here to talk about what happened. The person I shot.
But okay, so you shot someone, and it could have been a lot worse. Yeah, like it was. It was.
You know, when I went to shoot that person, and even to this day, I feel bad for him, and the trauma, and his kids, and his wife. Why? And I'm aiming for and I'm going to shoot this bloke, and I thought, no, I can't do this. I don't want this. I don't want his kids to grow up without a dad.
Yeah.
My first thoughts, because I grew up without a dad, and I know how tough and hard it would have been. So I lowered and I aimed for the ground, and unfortunately got him in the leg. But like I said, he's not here to tell his side of the story. This could be just all, hogwash. But
and you were even with that incident, and again, I want people not judging, but understanding the world that you lived in. You were surprised he even went to the cops about that.
Well,
they thought this type of thing gets settled away from the police. Yeah.
You kind of told a witness at the scene who shot you, and my name was mentioned, and they got anyway. It's a long story short, but at the end of the day, Gary, what I did was wrong.
Yeah.
I don't care what he could have done, what he may have done, or I could have got ambushed. I got a warning I was going to get ambushed that day. It really doesn't matter. What I did was far more worse than what he did. I should never even gone to the meeting, let alone have a pistol in the car and have intentions to shoot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was I was defending myself, but what I did, I was so stupid. It's wrong. There's no winners here.
Yeah.
Like I said, the trauma. This poor bloke's probably living in fear for the rest of his life. I don't know. I haven't seen him. I don't know anything about it. His kids. Yeah. What about his poor wife? Yeah. His poor sent her husband in a hospital bed. Regardless of what he's done or what threats were made, it's wrong. What about me? What about my mum? What about my friends?
Yeah.
There's no winners here. You don't settle things that way. That's all I knew. I don't offer excuses, but that's all I knew. That's the only way I knew how to settle things.
But it's an important...
Talking wasn't working then. I had to go another level.
It's an important message to put out to people, bud, isn't it?
You don't. It's violence. Don't go there. It's just don't. There's many ways to settle disagreements. There is. Yeah. I see it's happening every day. They're killing each other.
Yeah.
Over debts, I don't know what it is. I don't get involved. There's so many ways to settle things. And what I did, I just hope it's an eye-opener for people thinking about doing shit like that. You don't settle. You don't settle arguments that way. I got no right to take a gun to meet someone who was, like I said, he's not here to defend himself. I should never have done that. It's wrong.
Yeah.
Regardless of the situation or what threats were made, doesn't matter. You don't do that. You just don't show up.
Yeah.
You don't go there.
Can walk away from it.
I could have walked away. I could have not shown up.
Yeah.
I could have got someone else to ring him up and say, listen, mate, let's forget about it. You win. I yield to you. Good on you. Great. No. My bravado, my ego, my upbringing of violence, I don't know. I'm thinking back now, that's why my psychologist told me. You've seen violence, you went to jail, that's all you knew. And he was right, but I wish I didn't do that.
I understand where you're coming from, and I've seen, especially as a homicide detective and working gangs, I saw it too often.
Yeah, you would have, Gary, for sure.
It's just people escalating violence where if you got them in a room and you actually sat down and spoke to them, it's that bravado. And, someone, you said what? Okay, well, and it
that's
just
what it was.
Escalates. And I got sick of seeing it in the cops. And that's why I think it's really good, someone like you talking about it, just calling the bullshit on what it is.
I just should, now, if I'm in a bar or something, I'm with people and somebody come up to me and says, I read your book, you're a fucking dog, whatever, anything.
Yeah.
You know what I'd do? I'd stand up, shake his hand and say, you're right, mate. You got your own opinion. I'll just walk away. I promise you that's what I would do right now.
Yeah.
But 20 or something years ago, I was just a different person.
You'd arc up and...
But you think it's a sign of weakness not to retaliate or do something,
Well, you bring up an interesting area because most of the real tough guys I know, like I know people, reputation of tough guys, the real tough guys I know don't have to prove anything.
There you go.
And they're the ones that can walk away because they couldn't give a stuff.
Yeah, you're 100% correct. I thought I had to prove something back then. I was so wrong.
Yeah.
But there was no one there I could ring up and say, what do you think I should do? I didn't want to ring up anyone. There was no go-to person. I went to this place to shoot a bloke. That's fucking wrong. That's crazy.
When you look back at
do
it
I feel
now.
sorry for him? More for his kids and his wife. I really do. It's sad. You don't want to see someone in a hospital bed.
No.
You know,
Not achieve anything.
if he was to walk into this room right now,
Yeah.
I'd shake his hand and I'd apologise to him.
Right. Well, we've got him here, John. I'll bring him in.
Mate, no problem. He can do what he wants.
Yeah.
I've got no problem with it. If he wants to bash the fuck out of me, it's go ahead. I wouldn't retaliate.
Yeah. Well,
You can't win.
I think it's a really important message. And coming from someone like you don't have to prove your toughness.
No.
You prove that on the football field and everywhere else.
No, it's the
But,
crazy things in my head.
So doing 4 years, how was
4.5.
4.5. How was that mentally for you?
That was probably the toughest 4.5 years. It was very tough.
Did you hate yourself for it? What were the
I hated
emotions
myself
you
because
go through?
I'm going back to France to coach the
You had everything going. You had everything lined up to
Yes.
really make a shot of things.
Yeah.
So talk us through it.
Well, it was tough. I mean, I had to do 4.5 years. I didn't know what was it. There was threats being made by the person I shot. Anyway, we won't go there. But I got through it through. I had to have a couple of disciplines. I had to train every day to keep my mind occupied. I had to. The higher power, he came to me for, whether I used him up or not, I don't know. I always said, I remember there was a chaplain in there. There's a chaplain at Windsor, and he said to me, he's an ex-bikie. He sent it all himself. He told me his life story. He said, it's not the life for me. I'm here to be a chaplain. And I said, I know about this guy, KP. I grew up to be Catholic. I went to Catholic schools. He said, John, if you don't believe in God, just believe in his creation. So that's stuck with me. Like he made the moon, the star, all that sort of stuff. And he's kind of right. And I done a lot of praying. Yeah, religiously, it was good for me. And I've done some memoirs. I just wanted to write down what went wrong in my life. And that's how this book come about, Simbin.
Well,
I was never going to write a book. It was just for myself.
Yeah. You found that cathartic, like putting it all down and trying to understand a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, there was times I didn't understand why I did it.
Yeah.
How stupid I was. And I got emotional a few times. And the pain and suffering my mum went through. So... And you I could cry now. I'm nearly about to get emotional.
No, well, it's your mum stood by you the whole
she
time,
didn't deserve that. She had her own problems raising 4 kids. She didn't have to see us, the youngest, who had no, anyway, go to jail a number of times, and I put her through so much.
No, well, hopefully she's proud of you the way you're coming through, and you're trying to put something back, telling people, giving advice only in the form of this is what I went through. It's not compulsory to take it on board. You take what you want. If they want to take some bits of it, do you watch like young footballers getting themselves into trouble? Watching that, and what's your thoughts there? And if you could you could get them in the room, what would you say to them?
I guess that's a good question because when I was a young kid growing up, I used to get advice to be told, surround yourself with the good people. And I used to think, fucking good people? Who are they? I mean, who are these school nerds? Who are these educated idiots? And I used to laugh about it. I don't know who these good people are. They wouldn't give me a go. Years have passed and I'm surrounding myself with good people. And I know why. They're good people because they give everyone a chance.
Yeah.
And they'll believe you if they can see you're making a go in your life. They'll turn on you if you do the wrong thing. And that's my advice to the kids. Surround yourself with good people.
Yeah.
It's so important. I think it's number one.
Well, the growing up without a father, that one person constant in your life could have made the difference for you, perhaps.
Well, the only proof I got of that is my brother George, my older brother George. He had guidance at a young age, and he's now a successful lawyer, and he's doing so well in his life. And I couldn't be any prouder. Not many people get an opportunity and do take it. You know what I mean? He's taken and he's doing. And I got my nephew's the lawyer, the niece is the lawyer. He got a lot of guidance when he was young, and he to this day even brings it up. He regrets that he wasn't there for me because he didn't have the time. He didn't know himself, so he just let me go and do what he did. Guidance is so important, but it's got to be the right guidance. My guidance was Eddie Smith, probably the most notorious.
That was going to end in tears.
Yeah.
George, there was something in your book that George gave evidence at one of your court matters and actually was apologising to you.
Yeah, that was for the guns and bulletproof vests. I wanted to go get bail. I didn't know what George was doing. I didn't know he was going up to be a character reference. Because there's a conflict of interest if you get someone from your own family. So he's gone up there. I said, "What's going on here?" Being a smart ass that I was, and he started crying. He got emotional.
Basically said that he felt guilty because he was concentrating on his career and not looking out for you.
Not looking out for me.
So with the young footballers, is it too much time? Do you like the fact that they're trying to get them to have careers now, not just their
I think it's great, but they've got a lot of time on their hands.
Yep.
And I have no doubt in my mind, Gazza, I think these young kids, and some of the senior players too, can be bad influence.
Yeah.
They're dabbling in either gambling, alcohol, or drugs. I've got no doubt majority are doing 2 of the 3.
Yeah.
It's dangerous. It's a recipe for fucking something bad's going to happen. They've got to be very careful. They've got too much money, badly advised. They're spending it every day. I know a lot of them playing the poker machines as we speak.
Yeah.
Because it's easy, takes their mind away, just pushing a button.
Yeah. And
they're doing their money. Think about it. They're doing the money pre-footy game to play the next couple of days. They're not going to play their best.
Yeah. Yeah, well, just on the fact that if they've lost their money, they're not going to go out.
They're not going to win.
Yeah, they're not going to go out with a clear head.
Only if they do win, it's only a small loan. My advice to them is, I don't know, just maybe do it in moderation, I suppose. Drugs, you got to keep away from that. That's very dangerous as well, So it's an addictive. Funny you brought that up. The psychiatrist said, when you're in addiction, and he looked at me because I didn't mind the bet, having a punt. He says, "John, when you're in addiction, you're a psychopath." So what do you mean, John? His name is John. I said, "What do you mean?" He says, you've got 3 characteristics of a psychopath. Only when in addiction. When not in addiction, you're not a psychopath. He says, you have no conscience. He was right. You don't learn by your mistakes, and you can change your reality at will. He was 100% correct.
And that's an addiction.
That's an addiction.
Yeah.
You have no conscience.
Yep.
You don't learn because you're going to do it again. And you convince yourself you're doing the right thing when you're not. Yeah. You change your reality. He was so fucking right. He says, they're 3 characteristics of a psychopath.
A lot of lessons to learn from that. Sounds like a wise man.
Yeah, he's been there and done it himself.
But yeah, you don't want to see people go down the path that you've gone. But look, you've made it to 60. So a lot of people would have said,
I don't know how,
but you're there and you're reflecting on your life and you're trying to live a good life now. So
yeah, I am. I still don't know how. I'm just so grateful. I wake up every day and I do the serenity prayer.
Yeah.
Do you know it?
No, but I know about clearing your mind and serenity.
I'd say it if you want. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change and the courage to change the things I can. I wake up to that every day.
Okay, simple
it's very
message.
Simple. Just be grateful. I'm just grateful I'm alive, honestly.
Yeah.
And this game of rugby league, I know that people won't give me a start in coaching, and I understand that. But I'm so indebted and so grateful that I played the game. Because without it, Gaza, as I said, not sure if I'd be dead or I'd be in prison. It'd be one of the 2 for sure.
Well, I think that that sport has given you some good people around you, people that have guided you, and it's like the who's who of inspirational people in the country that have taken time out to have a chat with you and keep you in the right direction. You
mentioned one of the names there, Wayne Bennett. It's funny because I had a 60th. Johnny Lewis was there, Norm he, the MC. We had a 60th. And they done a video for me.
Yeah.
And on there it says, Wayne Bennett could never work me out. He's so right. He said, I could never work John out. Off the field, he took shortcuts. And on the field, he never did,
Yeah.
That's what I want. That's who I was.
Maybe there's a metaphor for life in that. Don't take the shortcuts.
Don't take the shortcuts.
Yeah.
I used to love doing it.
Okay.
It was easy because I knew how to do it, see? See, some, like squareheads, so I would use that term, they wouldn't know how to take shortcuts. All they knew was hard work, study, put your head in the books. But I knew how to do it, to take the shortcut off the field. I had contacts to get leather coats, get hold of I had all these contacts. They were shortcuts. I knew that's just the life I led.
But if you use the analogy on the football field that shortcuts or any sporting endeavour, you can't take the shortcuts, and maybe that's the reality of life. When you look at it, there's no shortcuts.
How do you take a shortcut on the footy field and try and win? You can't.
Yeah.
You can't do it.
Well, John, look, I've really enjoyed our chat here. So appreciate you coming on. And I know you're a little bit conflicted whether to come on or not come on, and it's deeply personal, the stuff you're talking about. But I reckon people are going to find some inspiration from it, and understanding too, John. Understanding.
Yeah, I thought long and hard about coming on here, Gazza. You're an ex-cop, and I'm a retired criminal. I mean, just it's not a good mix. But after speaking to Johnny Lewis and Matty Noble, and Paul Kent himself as well, they said no, the bloke's 100%, and I took their advice. See, I'm starting to listen.
Listen to some.
I took their advice, and I'm here, and if I can get the message across, fine. If I don't, I totally understand. If the kids want to listen, go ahead. You can contact me through you, Gazza, if they want to contact me and have a chat. I've got so much I can tell and so much I can share with them. But not unfortunate. I dare say that I hope there's a few kids that were like me just wouldn't listen.
Yeah.
I've been in a classroom, you get kids come in, lecturers come out, and everyone's got a story, and I would never listen to nobody. So I'd laugh at them, actually, and look where it got me.
Hopefully they're listening to you, and let's also shout out to the charity that you support too.
Yeah, the proceeds of that book I think it was about 100,000. We donated to the Chris O'Brien Lighthouse Cancer Centre, because that saved my life, So
yeah,
I've seen the hard work those nurses did, and the doctors and the professors. It's just
full credit to them.
Oh, mate, what they did, mate! I had tubes coming out. I was in nappies. The things they've done for me, just. Yeah. I take my hat off to them,
No, there's a good charity for people to donate to. But thanks, John, for coming on, and thanks for your offsiders, Johnny Lewis and Norm.
My insurance,
your minders, the two heavies have turned up here.
Yeah.
I'm not going to stuff around, so, appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, Gary. Much appreciated, mate.